Okay, what's going on, everybody? My name is Mangg. Welcome back to my favorite part of the week, hanging with Mangg. Where I just get to play some shit and talk some shit and a lot of shit, you know, shit. And I guess we're going to be playing some more Shadow of Mordor because it's just a fantastic game that I really like playing, so why not? It's just... I mean, and I get to do all my side stuff here. It's good times.
Eat and drink! Eat and drink! Eat and drink!
Okay.
Luke.
Alright, well. Oh, he's just got fear of burning. Oh, man. Yeah, I resolved that feast pretty quick.
Stop moving!
Alright, so... yesterday was my good buddy Ziggy's wedding. It's kind of crazy when I think about it. You know, that's how you know getting a little older. The guy you met in first grade just got married. It wasn't too crazy or anything. It was a wedding. Kind of hit on all the notes that a wedding would hit on. It was like 4 hours away, which was unfortunate. Oh, he ain't coming back. So yeah, it was a bit of a drive, and most of the other people that my friends, they got hotel rooms and stuff like that because they drink. So, you know, you don't want to drink at a wedding and then drive home for 4 hours at 2 a.m. So they all stay, but my brother and Mert, we drove together. None of us drink, so yeah, we didn't bother with that. We just drove home we left at like 9. But, you know, 9 sounds kind of early for a wedding, but really, when you don't drink and you're not crazy about dancing, and you don't got like a girl there, not much to do. I mean, if you meet a girl there, sure. And in fact, I was promised, or I was told at the very least, that there would be a pool of bachelorettes. That was the specific quote that I recall. There'd be a pool of bachelorettes. There was like one. There was like one viable choice, and even she wasn't viable because the bride was trying to set her up with one of my other buddies. So even though that's not a viable, the other bridesmaids were either married or 16. And then there were a couple of other quite good-looking women there. But of course, they both have boyfriends. So it's just like, alright, I guess I'm leaving at 9.
Back to finish you off myself.
I wasn't best man, mostly because Ziggy knows that I don't like that kind of responsibility. So I probably would have been if, like, when he told me he was getting married, he was like, well, if you need a best man, you know, I'll do it, but he knows that I'm not that kind of guy, so he didn't ask. And I'm kind of thankful. I would have planned a really shitty bachelor party. But he did ask me to be the gong master. Which is not a usual position held at a wedding. But apparently Ziggy and his wife, well, that's kind of weird to say, they went to a wedding a while back, and apparently there was a gong there. And they liked the idea so much for getting everybody's attention, they're like, we're going to have a gong at our wedding. And so I was designated the gong master. And so when the gong needed to be rang, I was there. And so there was a bit of responsibility for me, but I accepted the position because he did ask. And I didn't get any. I thought I was going to get practice time with the gong before the wedding. I did not. I've never banged a gong in my life. So it was a bit of a daunting task. But I performed admirably. I had people come up to me, congratulate me on how good my gonging was. And so I think, basically, I don't know who started it, but I guess that if you came up to me and you told a joke, I had to go bang the gong, and then bride and groom had to kiss. But really all it ended up being was the mother of the bride coming up to me and telling everybody else's jokes. So I banged the gong quite a bit. And it was like, okay, there's the gong. It's been banged. I'm gonna die. And later in the night, other people started banging the gong. Like kids. This one kid just ran up to it and banged the gong. And like the music stopped. And I just fucking yelled out while like pounding my chest. I was like, well, I didn't swear, but I'm like, I'm the gong master here. Like, who do you think you are? You can't just come into somebody's wedding and think that you're the gong master, because you're not. Alright? That is an honorary position that you do not hold. It was bullshit. I wanted to strangle him. But that aside, it was a good wedding. They had pies instead of cake, and I didn't have any pie because it was kind of a fatty day anyways. Food there was, you know, wedding food. It is what it is. And the bride and the best man and the maid of honor gave their speeches. They were both very similar, very short, and not very memorable. They weren't particularly funny, and they weren't particularly like tear-jerking, I guess. They were just kind of like, okay, you know, that's what I expected to hear, I suppose. And so after that, people were getting their pie and stuff like that, and I was like, you know, I was sitting there thinking, I'm like, it's pretty much my best friend getting married. How can I not give a toast? And I had no intention of giving any toasts when I arrived at this wedding. But as you all well know, I do my best work when I'm just winging it. So I was like, I gotta just grab that mic, bang the gong, and start talking. And so that's what I did. I got the microphone, and I gave a little toast. And I really don't like to brag. I really don't. It's not my thing. But you know, since I've done this whole LP thing, YouTube thing, a lot of talking and stuff like that, I've become a bit of an orator, I guess. Like, public speaking is just, like, it's nothing now. Way back when Mert got married, it was before I started LPing and doing anything on YouTube. And I was planning on giving a toast at or a speech, I guess, at that wedding. And I wrote it out. And, you know, looking back on it now, it wasn't very good. It wasn't very funny or anything. But I thought it was all right. And I got there, and everybody in my family knew I was going to give this speech and everything. And then the time was supposed to come, and I just got complete cold feet, and I was like, no, I don't want to do it. And they were all just pushing me and just pushing me. I was like, no, I'm not going to do it. And so eventually my brother gave the speech, but he completely butchered it. He had no comedic timing at all. It was terrible. And oh God, it was terrible. I didn't even want to look at him while he was doing it because it was just like, ah. And so the whole thing was kind of just ruined. And they still talk about it today. But that's, you know, that's kind of the change then that's occurred because of this whole YouTube thing. Is now, back then I had everything written out, it was all set up, and I couldn't do it. Now it's just, oh yeah, I'll just walk up there and give a speech. And based on the number of people that came up to me after that and said that was an incredible speech, it was really awesome, I kind of feel like I overshadowed the best man and the maid of honor a little bit. Like, even the two of them were like, that was a really good speech. Even the DJ was like, nice job, man. And again, I'm not trying to brag, I'm just telling you facts of what happened. And you know, it was a good speech because I didn't really go for any humor, which is so often what I do. And I said that, I was like, you know, most of my life is just kind of just joking, nothing ever serious. But I'm going to be serious for a rare, special moment in my life here. And it was just all very heartfelt. And so I think that resonated with everybody, because the other two speeches had a little bit of it, but there was also the humor. It was just kind of jumbled together. Yeah, you know. But, yeah, it was... Unfortunately, nobody got it on video. So, I don't... It's just that you had to be there for that one special time to hear Mangg make people cry. But yeah, overall, it was a good wedding. As far as wedding goes, I mean, I'm not sure what else I could really make it better. I mean, I guess you could have actually had a pool of bachelorettes. That may have worked. But it is what it is. There was one of the chicks that had a boyfriend. Oh man, I'd butter her biscuits, if you know what I'm saying. You might know what I'm saying. I don't know. But I was lied to. Nope, no pool. Kiddie pool. No, that doesn't sound right. A shallow pool? No. I don't know what word I'm trying to describe this pool. It was not a pool. It was a bathtub. Yeah, so that was pretty much it. That was my whole day yesterday, from like 7 a.m. to 2 a.m. Just wedding stuff. Luckily, I didn't have to take part in many pictures. I did wear a suit for like the second time in my life, and the first time I was like 13. Suits are just good. Whoever invented that thing, he knew what he was doing. You just, everything you do in a suit just looks better. We're just killing random people here. I gotta do stuff. So yeah, I got a suit now. So you can just suit up whenever you want. And just, boom, you're classy. What else? I think that's, well, that's it as far as events go. I didn't do anything crazy. When I first got to the church, I was there with my brother and Mert. And we were talking about, I don't know, we needed to, like Studs texted me asking like what was the address of the church or something like that. And we didn't know, we were trying to remember it. And so this chick just walks up to us. Or she walks up to me. And she hands us like the RSVP or whatever that had the address on it. And I'm just like, oh. And then I'm like, were you eavesdropping? And she just looks at me. And, you know, I've heard the term sultry before, but I'm not sure if I've ever heard a girl talk in such a tone. This girl talked in that tone. And I can't try and emulate it because I'm a guy. But she said, like, oh yeah, you know, I hear everything. And, I mean, imagine it in much sexier, salacious tone of voice. And I'm just like, I didn't recognize her. This was one of my acquaintances' girlfriends that I had met before years ago. I didn't recognize her. She looked damn good. Oh, no chance. I'm dead. Time
to go claim the prize.
And I was saddened later to remember that, oh yeah, I know this girl and I know her boyfriend. Damn. I thought she was coming on to me. Nope. Nope. Just a very, very dry, couple-filled wedding is what that was. But that's alright. That's alright. Let's see. Okay. Trying to remember. I don't think any board game stuff has happened. Oh, I do have something to talk about on that front, but I think I did the last hanging with Mangg after Sunday's board game day, so nothing there. We did play a bit of board games at the wedding. Like between the ceremony and the reception, we played a bit of Coup and a bit of Skulls. It was okay. And then we finished our game of Skulls at the start of the reception. Just some beer and pretzels games, man. You can play them at a wedding if you want. Get on. Yeah, just kind of waiting. And today, I don't think we're even gonna do board game day because they're all still. I mean, they were all drunk, so they're all still up there, 4 hours away, which is a bummer. We don't get many board game days, man. I did play some Netrunner with Mert on Friday. And I think he's getting into it a little bit, which is good. It was very good. I need somebody. I just need one person to be hooked up by it. To be able to just buy some data packs, build some decks. Good times.
Watch on, you glubs! Nothing can defeat me!
But we do have our Halloween board game night coming up.
Oh, fuck. Looky here! It ain't the place for the likes of you, Ranger! I'll kill you both!
And I want to do a normal board game day after the Halloween board game night. Because I want to play Cosmic Encounter. And it's not really a Halloween game. They said we can play it. What's the difference? Doesn't need to be themed. I'm like, nah, it's got to be themed. I'm sorry. Great game though. I think as far as games that I'm ordering, I'm planning on ordering quite a bit, actually. I was surprised at the list I was building up for my next order. I guess I just like buying shit. I think we all understand that by now. I think a lot of board gamers have that issue where they buy more than they need. It's like a Steam sale, except none of it's really on sale. I'm buying Splendor, which is a relatively newish game. I think it was nominated for the Spiel des Jahres, which is kind of a medium light card draft. No, not even draft. I don't know what it is, but it gets a lot of hype, and I hear it's really good for families. So sure, pick it up. What else is on there? A game called Room 25. I had never heard of this before. I don't even know what made me recall that. It may have been... Oh, shit. I don't remember. Some video I was watching mentioned Room 25. So I was like, what is that? And I looked it up. And I just had to buy it because apparently it's basically Cube, the board game. And I was like, I have to own it. And I looked at it, I looked how it said, I was like, I gotta own it. It's kind of a hidden trader game, but it's also like a tile placing or something. And you're in this maze, I guess. Like, just picture the movie Cube. You should all be familiar with it at this point. And you're just in there. You're trying to get out, and there's all sorts of these rooms that can be filled with traps and shit like that. And oh, he did. But some of the people in your group might not want to get out. You know, they might want to just kill you. And so you all have to kind of like discuss which direction to go and what's the best course of action to move and stuff like that. And so it's like $20 or something. I was like, it's Cube the board game, hidden trader, I'll get it. Oh, who are you? Shit. Am I gonna kill you before I even get to know your name? No, here we go.
See this pretty scar? That was your doing.
But yeah, Room 25, I'm curious. You know, and it's not like that's not a very well-known game. It doesn't have amazing reviews, but it's just like, whatever, I'll buy it. You know, it's a relatively unknown game, might as well have it in my collection. Sorry, I just got a text. See, it's a very casual video.
Came across some strange tracks.
Okay. Then there was Lords of Waterdeep is on my list. Lords of Waterdeep is a Dungeons and Dragons board game that is, well, it's Dungeons and Dragons themed, but really it's a worker placement game. And I actually, well, yeah, I don't own a worker placement game other than Province, I guess, if you count it. But worker placement is a very Euro-centric mechanic in which, generally, you have every turn a set number of workers that you can place in different areas on a board, and each worker in a certain area will give you a specific action or bonus or currency or whatever. And so it's pretty simple to understand, but it offers a lot of depth in how you distribute your workers every turn. And there's a bit of, like, you know, generally, especially in Lords of Waterdeep at least, where, you know, if somebody puts their worker there first, you might not be able to put your worker there, so you miss out that turn on whatever that bonus or action is or whatever. So it's not really direct interaction between players, but there is a bit of, like, oh, you bastard, you know, take that. And so Lords of Waterdeep is going to be my first worker placement game because, well, partly because I've played it on iOS and I really like it, but also because generally it's considered to be a very solid worker placement game. It's like an American worker placement game, and Americans do everything better, so. But yeah, so in that game, you're trying to complete quests. And to complete quests, you need adventurers. You're not actually an adventurer yourself, like in most D&D stuff. You are a Lord of Waterdeep. And so you need to hire adventurers to complete quests. And so most of the places to put your workers are trying to get adventurers. So there's like a mage tower or something where you'll get a mage adventurer, which is basically just like a cube. There's just different colored cubes. And there's like an arena, so you can get a warrior, warrior adventurer. There's a temple, you can get a cleric, thieves guild, whatever. And then there's also God, I'm just trying to freaking
Stay put.
boom, run in fear.
Have I found you at an inopportune time? How unfortunate for you.
But you also need money, and you can also buy buildings, which do new different actions, and generally they're better than the regular ones on the board. And but then other players can also use your buildings, but then you get like a bonus if they use your building. So it's got complexity. It was a fun game, and I want to own it because I want to play it with other people instead of just myself on my iOS or on my iPad. So Lords of Waterdeep. It's good on the iPad if you're looking for. I own a couple worker placement games on iPad.
Grave Walker.
No, shut up.
I've been watching you. waiting for the perfect time to strike you down. Here and now, I will end your useless life.
Jeez, you talk a long time. What else is on there? I was gonna get Power Grid, Funkenschlag. I was planning on picking it up, but they just announced the deluxe version, which has new art and a new map and new component, you know, all sorts of new stuff. And I was like, all right, I'll wait. They announced that at just the right time, I guess. Because Power Grid, the regular, it's like number 10 on Board Game Geek. It's a pretty well-known game, medium, heavy Euro, and very apparently mathy. And I don't really own a game like that, so I was like, sure. But we'll wait for the deluxe version. Boom, that's the best way to kill them. I mean, you know they're dead. What else? What else? Citadels. That's a Fedudi game. Bruno Fedudi. And... you dead. That is a game where... basically, I think it goes around at the start of a round in a circle, and there's a bunch of cards that have different roles on them that do different actions. And so the people, you'll pick a role and you'll pass the set of cards on, and then you'll keep picking the different roles until everybody has a role, and then you resolve your actions. And it's a pretty well-known game, and I hear about it quite a bit. It has its detractors that don't care for it, but it's definitely got a following. And I own Masquerade, which is another Fedudi game, and I was like, all right, I might as well own Citadels if I'm gonna own Masquerade. I could have interrogated him. So yeah, we'll see about Citadels. I like those, you know, smaller little card games, although I don't know how exactly small it is. Bloodbound. This is an interesting one. If you Google Bloodbound board game and you look at the cover art, I can easily see why you'd just pass on it immediately. And I probably would have done the same if I hadn't read a bunch of reviews about it. Because it looks very Twilight. It looks very, very lame. But apparently the gameplay itself is quite intriguing. It's another kind of hidden traitor resistance type game. But there's more to it than resistance, I guess. And there's stabbing involved. And so... I just hear it's really good for a hidden traitor game. So it's like $13. I mean, if a game costs that much, I'm willing to try just about anything. You dead. Okay, so Bloodbound. I'm trying to remember my list that I had. Libertalia. Okay, Libertalia is a pirate-themed game that kind of has a similar mechanic to Citadels, in which you're kind of picking your role selection, if you want to call it that, and hidden role selection, so you don't know what the other people are going to choose for their roles, and it's pirate-themed. I don't know a great deal about it, but I know it's quite popular, and it's going to be featured on tabletop in the next season. And any game that's going to be featured on tabletop is going to be popular. And prices are going to go up. So I'm going to get in on the ground floor. So I'm glad that Will Wheaton announces the games that are going to be on there, because that gives us a little heads up. So the other one, like Takedo or something, I don't really have any interest in. That's a bit too light for me. But Libertalia, I was like, yeah, I'll grab it. There's probably some other stuff. In fact, I'm sure there was. Maybe I can get my list. Oh yeah, here it is. Machikoro. Yeah, Machikoro. That is another new game. Newish. I'm pretty sure it's Japanese. And this is a Settlers of Catan-esque game. So it's kind of light-ish, and you're rolling. You're buying buildings, and then you're rolling dice every turn to see which buildings produce their output, and stuff like that. But apparently, it's got great little family-friendly gameplay and nice art, and it's like $20, and people are talking about it, so sure. And then finally, Castles of Burgundy.
That cargo you let escape was Master's favorite. We'll make you.
And Castles of Burgundy is going to be really my first major Euro game. It's a Stefan Feld game, so it's going to be my first Feld game as well. And I really have no idea how this game is played, but people say it's the best Feld game. They say it's really good for 2 people. I'd like to get a game to play with my mom that's a bit heavier than Jaipur, but not, Netrunner. And so I was like, all right, let's try this Castles of Burgundy. Everybody's talking about it. I need a Feld game, so I'll grab it. The other game that I'm looking at, well, I'm looking at plenty of them, but I'm also looking at the X-Wing Miniatures game. It's... Oh, they're going to kill him. Okay, we're just going to watch then. The X-Wing Miniatures game, I've never really been interested in any miniatures or war games or anything like that. It just seems too complicated, too fiddly, too... I've seen stuff of it like Dust Tactics and stuff like that, where you're like using rulers and you're lining up it seems like an antiquated thing to me. Like, it seemed like if this was 1940, this would be freaking amazing. But now it's like we have better systems for this kind of stuff. But X-Wing Miniatures apparently is not really a traditional war game, I guess, such as Warhammer or something. And
maybe we'll leave you here all night. See if the catacombs.
And it's Star Wars, and it looks pretty cool. They did play it on tabletop, and it looked fun on there. And I was like, it's cheap to get into. The core set is not that much, $30 or something like that. And they had 4 people do it on tabletop. They had 2 people on each side, discussing and controlling. I was like, that sounds cool. I would be down for something like that, There we go. And so I'm thinking maybe about picking it up if I get the option. I figure $30, you get a lot of these cool little miniatures. The rules sound pretty simple. You get there's cards involved. How could you really go wrong? So we'll see. But the thing that I was going to talk about last time that I didn't talk about last time was this crazy idea. This crazy idea that Studs did not come up with it. He didn't invent the idea. Although, I'm sure he thinks that he did.
First we carry the barrels here, then they make us take the same barrels back down. What's in these barrels anyway?
But the idea is of a board game cafe. This is not a new thing, but it's a relatively new thing outside of, like, Korea. And so a board game cafe is, I mean, if you think of a cafe as a, you know, a smaller restaurant where they don't serve, you know, real heavy fare. They serve sandwiches and coffee and stuff like that, wraps. And then you combine board games with that. So you have an extensive selection of board games that people can just take off the shelf and they can play with each other. And so it's just a real lighthearted atmosphere. People are just playing board games. Nobody's going to judge you for being a nerd and playing a board game in public, but you also get, you know, great food and stuff like that with it. And I think they're growing in popularity a bit. At least in America and Canada. And so Studs, after we played like Love Letter at Applebee's, Studs like, I'm gonna open up a restaurant where you can play board games, but there's gonna be alcohol. I'm like, so it's a board game cafe. And so we kind of just, I hopped on board right away because I'd been talking to Ziggy about that and how they were growing more popular. And you know, that's kind of a dream business to open, I would say. And we started kind of talking about logistics of it and how it would work. And Studs would be running basically the restaurant portion, and I would definitely run the up front section. But he wanted, well, I don't know what he wanted. He was thinking more of a bar, but I was like, no, it can't be a bar that has board games. It has to be a board game cafe that serves alcohol. There's a big difference. And he was like, yeah. He agreed. Because if it's a bar, you restrict a lot of your audience. A lot of customers. And so, you know, if you open up a board game cafe in downtown Milwaukee, right near, you know, the University of Milwaukee, you know, there's like 4 campuses down there. MSOE, you know, there's Marquette, there's UW Milwaukee, there's all sorts of stuff. There's no board game cafes, and then, you know, we're Wisconsin, we got the alcohol down. I mean, Milwaukee knows their beer, so we could get, you know, a bunch of local breweries down there to, you know, hook up with us. We can serve their beers. And you got to happen in place. I was like, you're going to make money. I would feel confident about that. And so, you know, we were discussing it quite a bit as just kind of a really good idea. And everyone we told it to, even people that are just don't like board games, that would never play board games, they're just like, yeah, you know, that is actually a good idea. And it's something Studs and I would just love to do, you know. The problem is, of course, like how most problems are in the real world, money. We would need a significant amount of capital to get that started. Studs estimated at least $100,000, and you know, that's a lot. That's a tall order, man. For, you know, a couple of 25-year-olds, it's tricky. So I don't know if it'll ever come into fruition. I don't know if it's gonna ever be a thing. I would love it to be a thing. You know, I'm not saying I'd love it to be a thing because I would just get to sit around and play board games all day. I know that's not what would happen at all. I'd get to play less board games. But I think it would be a job that I wouldn't dread going into work. And that's something, you know. That is something. And I think it would make a lot of money. And that's kind of the key. So, if any of my viewers are wealthy people looking to make a solid investment in a Milwaukee-based company, you know what to do. You know what to do. Yeah, it would be really cool. I mean, of course, we would sell board games as well, because you'd have to. Why wouldn't you? But we were thinking, like, that was like initially a topic of discussion, was like, how do you regulate people's game time? Like, how do you prevent people from just walking in and spending the whole day just playing your games and not buying anything? And so I looked at what other board game cafes were doing, and the thing that I think we settled on was basically, like, if you want to play board games at the cafe, spend $5 and you just get unlimited playtime. I've heard other suggestions, like you pay $10 up front or something, but then you get $10 off of food, or $7 or whatever. That could work too. I mean, nothing's set in stone because this is probably never gonna happen, but yeah, it'd be cool. So there you go. We that's something that we discussed, but that is what we call a pipe dream. Yeah, not much else to say really about that, about board games in general. I'm trying to make, there's actually nothing I can really do, but I'm hoping to be able to make amendments for my uncouth attitude with that one girl, because my buddy was telling me something about her, and she sounds pretty cool. She's a psychology major, so she could probably see through all my bullshit, and that's important. And she's going to a pretty nice college, so she's intelligent. And apparently she really likes food. Like, she really loves pancakes. And her favorite food is McDonald's fries. But she's very tiny and petite because she works out a shit ton. I was like, this sounds like the girl for me. Because I don't want to go out on a date with a girl and have her order a salad. And I don't think this girl would do it.
You think you're the hunter? Poor blind prey.
And she likes pancakes. Like, that's so... It's quirky and adorable. And I want to buy her pancakes. But I don't know. We'll see. My buddy is gonna... He's never really had to act in a wingman mode before. So this would be the time. But I mean, his girlfriend, it's her roommate. Girls love playing matchmaker, right? Like, that, if sitcoms have taught me anything, it's girls love that shit. So I just need him to bring it up to his girlfriend and be like, hey, my buddy Mangg, he needs some of that loving. What you gonna do about it? No, that's probably a bad way to phrase it, isn't it? But he'll figure it out. He just needs to let her know. He just be like, yeah, how can we get these two together? She'll be like, oh, I know just the thing. Do this, and then this. And then it'll all work out. If I can see that chick again, that's an accomplishment in itself. I'll handle the rest once that happens, but we just got to get to that point. But she does seem pretty cool. And she's attractive. That's That's nice.
The killer's long gone.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Oh no! Too quick! Back to the end! Find me another! Come closer. We're all alone now. Back, you stupid talk!
Combat master, it's such bullshit.
Save me for last, you rascal!
I don't think I have this guy's... Not shit. What am I doing? So I can't kill him with combat attacks.
All to myself.
Guess I'll try stealthing him. Whoa!
Challenger!
You gotta be kidding me.
Look at you, maggot. You can barely stand straight.
Just stand straight enough to kick your ass. Well, this is a bit complicated.
Today, we shall be anointed in your blood.
There you go. See, I can still kick your ass. I had like 3 health left.
He's writhing on the ground.
This guy keeps regenerating, which is problematic. He's only power 10. Why is this guy so difficult?
Blood and gristle. None of that.
I didn't try and grab him.
Alone at last.
How many arrows can I put in his face?
After I kill you,
I didn't do anything. No, I need to stealth him. That's the only option. Yeah, I think that's about it for as far as discussion for this video.
Song of your screams. What? There's the ranger. Don't be shy, my friend. Let's fight.
Come on. Okay, he hates pain. That's great. Just step out a little bit, man. No, not you. This guy. Come on. I'm attracting you. Come on. Seriously? No luck. He's gotta move. He's not gonna live out his life there. Seriously? Oh. Oh. What? Get on!
That felt good.
Well, that hurt him, but shit. Okay, rinse and repeat.
Closer, let me bleed you.
This is kind of a shitty place for me to run out of discussion because
He's up there.
not much is going on. He's back to full health. Just screw this guy. I got better things to do with my life. Yeah, so I think that's good for a Hanging with Mangg episode. One of these times, one of these Hanging with Manggs or something, I'm just gonna come on and be like, so I had a date last night and it was awesome. One of these times, eh? We'll see. Alright, well, my name is Mangg. This has been Hanging with Mangg. I'll see you guys around.